Hello, everybody, and welcome to Spot On with your guest host today, Gemma Nelson, and I'll be interviewing our normal host with her story, Renee Rose. So please, everybody, give her a beautiful, warm welcome.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Renee. How are you today?
I'm in the other hot seat.
The hot seat, and how does it feel?
It is a little bit nerve-wracking.
Well, I promise to be gentle with you.
Well, that was one of the things why I accepted the interview with you, is because I really wanted to see what it felt like on the other side, so I could be more understanding and compassionate for my guests.
Oh, well, I think you do that naturally anyway, but that's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for doing this too.
Oh, you're very welcome. So, Renee, let's get started. Let's talk about you. Let's hear your story.
Okay, well, there's a lot and it could take a long time, so I'm just going to pick a few little things and see where it rolls with. The first thing I can say that happened in my life was at about 4 years old. I had a near-death experience. And I wasn't really sure what was going on at that time because I was so young. I met up with my twin a few years ago, and we did some, it was very advanced. We were toe-to-toe, head-on, the same. It was amazing. He had the book Pain Smarts, and I did it from my own, all by myself, and we met toe-to-toe. It was really cool. So we were doing some of these regressions and, and talking and doing a bunch of things like we always did. And we relived that experience. And I realized when I was young that, I wasn't aware, but I was seeing these monsters. Well, in an adult view, I was able to see that they weren't monsters. They were surgeons. It's like they had surgery masks on and stuff. So I actually visually saw myself being implanted as a walk-in at 4 years old, just didn't know what it was. And the memory carried through 55 years later or 50 years later. So you still remembered. I just never knew why I was awake, why I was so different from everybody. Why could I astral travel? Why could I see, talk to dead people? Why could I, see, dark things? And why was I so powerful? Why could I do things with them? So I spent most of my life trying to figure it out. But when that experience just happened a few years ago, I was able to retrace it and realize that, well, actually, he said, maybe you're a walk-in. And I had never heard that term before. I'm like, what's a walk-in? And then when he explained it, that another entity joins you, or you either leave or they join you, or they, braid in with you. I was like, well, that's probably it. And then, when you have those epiphanies and it's like, it goes click, click, clink, and it just falls right into place and everything makes sense. And for sure that it's right because you have so many different affirmations going on in your epiphany head, it's like, that was what happened. That's why I was so no doubting at all that must be what it is. I'm a walk-in. That's why I'm awake. And then all the unanswered questions that spirituality hadn't yet, on the desk, it looked like they all went away. All of a sudden, my unanswered questions were answered, and I could just really move forward more focused and more aware. Because when you don't know what's going on with you, like so many people are waking up now, it's scary at first when things start happening. You see things and hear things and you can do things. And then you have no one to talk to about it. It's really hard. Obviously, you're not alone because all the energies are around you, but you don't know how to necessarily talk to them. You don't know what to do until you develop your communication with spirit. And so in the meantime, that's what we're here doing, is trying to help people. And that's why I think I'm awake, because I've been trying to help people. I have been helping people all my life. I haven't tried. I have successfully helped people. So, and I'm doing everything I can to change my mindset on it all. But it's been so hard because I spent my whole life trying to dumb myself down to fit in. So now when it's time to come back out and be me, it's been difficult, and I've been voicing that difficulty. But I like to be me on camera so that everyone can feel comfortable. But then I make it look simple, but I've done it for my whole life. I didn't just turn the camera on with no experience, guys. I've been a model and actress since I was 18, and I've been trying to do my own thing my whole life. So I've been very spirited and inspired, and have a lot of willpower to just keep going no matter what happens. And with Rick inspiring, and really setting off this spot on, it's just morphed and taken on a big scale. But I know I jumped off. Let me go back to the story. It really is just about pretty much that, being a walk-in. Okay, so that's really what opened me up. I was very connected to God and the Creator. I was a Lutheran, so I went to church faithfully, and was confirmed. But the biggest thing that really bothered me in this little teeny town we lived in is I'd have epiphanies and beautiful things in the church, and then we'd all turn around and start to leave, and everyone would run for the door, practically push everyone down the stairs. Half the people wouldn't stop to talk to the minister. They just ran out the door, and I'd see all those other people in the stores or the restaurants. So they were just trying to hurry up and at a young age, it was like so impactful to me. Like, how could people be so loving and then turn around and then push each other out the door? And so that's just a little story, but that's just what kind of morphed me also into being a minister. I didn't like the hypocrisies, so I kind of wanted to do it my own way. But that was because I had a God experience. So that's my second story. And that's my biggest one that I really wanted to share with everyone. Yeah, it's and you're a walk-in too. And so that's why I started with the walk-in, because we created the walk-in group together so we could have a safe, closed, private group for walk-ins. Because when I started to try to figure out what they are and what's going on and looking for research, because you can find everything on the net, there's hardly anything. I mean, isn't that wild? So Gemma, I feel you and I are, meant to try to get more education out on that, because there is so little. And nowadays, do you know how hard it is to find where there's not something? Because on YouTube, there's everything. I mean, they have definitely said on YouTube, you can find everything, and it's almost impossible to find something that's not up there. So when we find something like this, that there isn't much, I feel, spurred on to do something about it. So I immediately created the group. So any of you out there that are walk-ins or feel like your whole life changed one day and you almost became a different personality, your whole life changed and you didn't understand what happened, and you had this new understanding and almost like somebody else that was with you, there's all different kinds of feelings. But if you have any interest in it, please come on in and join our walk-in group, because it's going to get bigger as it goes, and we're going to have more, people in it that have the experience and the understanding and more education. And that's what I create these groups for, to be specialized, so that in case you're, into it, that's what the group is all about. Because I'm just about at 5,000 on my timeline, so I have to, delete everybody and start over again, because there's a limit. I can just put everyone for following only, but I think it's better for everyone to shift off into the groups. And I'll be doing some mass advertising for that so we can bring more people in. But I'm really jumping up to YouTube. This Spot On is just where we're doing the interviews, but all the promotion and everything of the interviews are going to go up on YouTube, and start some mass promotions here, especially when we can get some sponsors. I am looking for sponsors, and I am ready to start doing more interviews again. But I had to take a little bit of time off for the Ascension symptoms I was going through. So I get that little yellow, don't I? But anyway, let's go back to the God experience, because that's the best part. So before I do that, did you want to?
Well, I just wanted to say, Renee, that, obviously being 4 years old and having a walk-in experience and being able to see it all happening must have been massive, and made a real impact on you. So well done.
Yeah, well, at 4 years old, that's what I'm, surprised at, is why so young. But I mean, a little bit more of the backstory. My father left, and I was so depressed. I didn't want to stay, and I didn't want to stay in the situation I was in because I wasn't happy. So I really wanted to leave. And that's pretty pitiful, to have a 4-year-old wanting to leave this planet. So that was why I figured it happened. And I watched myself for years. And I knew who I was when I came in and who I was going to be. And my mother, my narcissistic mother, was happy that I wasn't depressed and angry anymore, that I came in this person who's happy and loving and up. And I mean, she didn't even get upset that I was so up. I thought she'd do the opposite, you know, but she didn't. She was so happy that I wasn't depressed and upset anymore that she never even noticed.
Amazing.
Or she won't admit it. She won't admit anything. But that's her thing. So, you know, everything, there's different, you know, with the walk-in stuff, there's different things, different scenarios, different situations. They don't have to be a near-death experience. However, a lot of them are, and with head trauma. And I think that's because it's like the only time in my life I was unconscious. Many times I came back and went out and came back and went out. And when I came in, I kept hearing everyone, she's dead. Is she dead? She's dead. So to me, that's a near-death experience, because at 4 years old, you're going in and out and in and out of reality, and you're hearing everyone say she's dead. So I just figured I was, you know, and a lot of that we could all say is just imagination, sure. But, you know, and at my age, I couldn't do anything to show it. But at your age, when you changed, everybody around you noticed the difference. You changed you started changing everything. You put on makeup, you changed the whole color of your hair. You are still the same person, but it's like you stepped up about 20 degrees on your massive promotion and your work and everything. And you're just, you know, I saw the change when you had your walk-in. But you had it, the braided kind, right? That come in and integrate with you. So you're still here, but I also see all the other extra stuff that's come in to help you, because you're still same Gemma. You're just way more intense.
Awesome. So how about this massive God story? I'm intrigued.
Yes.
And I'm sure too.
Well, that's why I had to start with the walk-in one, because that's already big right there, right? But the God experience is really, really huge. I haven't told a whole lot of people about it because not everybody's ready to hear it. So I think now, at this time in my life, with all of you big, wonderful, loving supporters out there that I have, and I love you all. I love you so much. You've helped heal me in so many ways you don't even realize it. Just sending me your love and prayers has helped so much. And this is why the God experience I had connected me to God, the Creator, so intently that it changed my whole life. And this is why I am who I am. I started off as the walk-in, but so the experience happened because of a tragedy. So I kind of have to start off with that first. And my youngest son, at 5 months old, passed away. He was my in-between son. I had 3 sons. And he had a second batch of immunization shots that day. And with all the turmoil around all that and everything, I was in major, major shock. But the areas that I just go into action mode. And there was one point a few days into it all that I just kind of broke down and really started thinking, where's my son? And you know, he's with God, so everything's got to be fine, right? And, you know, I was just like sitting there going, well, you know, maybe, you know, can you please just let me know he's okay? Can you just, you know, just something, show me that it's okay, you know, that, you know, just show me that, you know, you're real or he's with you, and I'll be fine then, to know that he's in your hands. I'll just be absolutely fine. And poof, it happened just like that. And I think it was because I was awake. I was already used to everything. I was going out in the realms and, you know, shooting with my love gun everywhere, you know, so I was really strong. And I think I was really ready. And at that moment in time, I really needed it bad. And I feel a little bit bad now for asking for proof, because it makes me feel so silly later that you did it when it happens. But when it happened, it was this, and just like I had read and heard before, like a little teeny drop of essence. Just a little teeny drop. I mean, little. blew me away. Literally just blew me away. It hit me with so much unconditional love. It was so unbelievably overwhelming. And yet it wasn't overwhelming. It was just everywhere. And if there was any more of it, I wouldn't have been able to handle it. And until you feel it and experience it, it's just so hard to explain. That's why I haven't really explained it, because I don't think anyone really believed me either. So I didn't go into it too much with many people in my life. But it was the most incredible experience I've ever had. And I've had a whole lot of experiences being awake my whole life for 50 years, running around on this planet, doing all kinds of angelic things. But when God came and showed me, it was a different feeling than anything else. It was a different, it was everything different. Okay. And since that happened, because you don't really know what you don't know until you know it, right? So when you connect like that, there's no ever unknowing or forgetting or unlearning or any of that stuff. It's there forever. It's there forever. And it kind of was a little bit of a recognition. I would think that I maybe have more of a recognition, but it was so intense. I didn't have any way to think or do. The only thing that happened, and can you imagine? I was speechless. I literally didn't know what to say. It was like, if I opened my mouth, anything I would say to God, our creator, would sound stupid. I just knew it. It's like, what can I say? You can't say nothing. What do you say in the presence of God? You just say, I love you, right? And that's what I did. I threw myself to the ground in humble reverence, because there was nothing else to be done. There was no thinking about it. I threw myself to the ground. I said, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you so much. I will speak your name the rest of my life. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then he was gone. And I can't deny that ever for the rest of my lives, all of them, because I will not forget that. It might have happened, things that might have happened in the past, but I know what that was. And so now that connection, it instantly made me okay. I took care of everyone at the funeral. And you know how hard it was to have a funeral with a baby and an open casket, because they did an autopsy on him. They called it SIDS, but he actually had his shots that day. So something had to do with it. Plus he was autistic after his first shot. So there was something there that happened, but out of such a huge tragedy came something so wonderful. I mean, I thought I was going to die. I couldn't live. I didn't want to be without my child, but I had another one. So that made me keep going. But once I saw that, oh my God, there really is a creator, and he actually spent the time it spent the time. I say he, everyone. So we all, whatever we want to call our creator doesn't really matter, because our creator is the creator, right? And just whatever makes you feel good. So he sounds good to me, right? As father. So I felt so comforted knowing that my baby was in God's hands and back with God, that I instantly was okay. There was nothing to mourn. How could I mourn that he was in better hands than where he was before? I mean, I'm a wonderful mother, but God is the best there is. Right? So I didn't mourn the same way as I mourned for 3 days. I cried in the shower. Mostly in the shower is where it just come pouring out. But once that happened, it made me realize everything. I mean,
very, very profound. Yeah.
Everything. I mean, we feel things, we know things, but when we get to witness it, seeing is believing. I already believed everything. There was nothing new that I believed when I witnessed it. It was an affirmation of everything I already knew. And it made me then stand up strong after something so difficult. And then the funeral happened. And so I was able to stand there in the back of the room and greet everyone and hug everyone, because as soon as they saw the casket, knew they had to walk down that aisle and see that. And it was open because I wanted people to see what an autopsy on a child was like and what happened and all the controversy. And I wanted them to witness it, because that's what a funeral's about, is to see, yes, they are dead, you know, they have passed on. But here's another little miracle that happened. It was, and this was in Cleveland, Ohio, when this happened, 28 years ago. The first almost 3 rows of pews in the front of the church were all filled with angels. I mean, living angels. They were all women that were 70 or 80. And they just were there to support, because they knew a baby, an infant had died. So they came to support. And I mean, there must have been how many? Like 2 rows of pews of wow. Women. Of course, my row, the first row, was open for me, but the other 3 were, and the 2 behind were. And it was, at the time, I hadn't really, you know, become a metaphysician yet and gone down all that. I just was awake and still trying to learn everything. But that was so amazing that these people, I didn't know any of them. I didn't know who they were, but they stayed up and supported the front of the room while I was supporting the back of the room. And then when it came time to do the funeral, everybody was supported. I mean, people were upset and crying, but it wasn't like distraught tragedy, you know, like death can be, especially with a child. And I believe that because of all the angels and me being okay and ready to try to start helping everybody else, I just got back into normal angel mode, right? And I started worrying about everybody else because I was okay. And it was just a tremendous experience. How can I put it that way? I know it's like death of my child was a tremendous experience, but it was miraculous, and all the things that happened, and it helped me through such a tough thing. And what doesn't kill us does make us stronger. I mean, I didn't want to wake up. When you go through something like that, you don't understand what's going on. People turn away from God, they get angry, they do all kinds of things. And not for me. That's when I needed to know God was real more than any other time. It was the most important time in my whole life. I mean, the rest of the time I just knew he was there. But that time I needed to know, because it was so tragic. And so I want to offer that hope to all of you, that even in your darkest of times, there is always, when one door closes, another one opens. It always happens. And the bigger your tragedy, the bigger that next door, the reward's going to be. What could be so better in a situation of losing your child, at that kind of situation, and then having a God experience to top it all off and make it a miraculous situation that just doesn't normally, most people don't think of that. But that's why I want to share it with everyone, because it can be that much of a healing experience to instantly know that there really is a creator, and that in times of desperate need, sometimes actually the creator might respond back to you. And normally, I believe all prayers are always heard and always answered. It's just they might just not always need to be created, right? But to actually have a one-on-one conversation with God, or be able to have his energy in your presence, I haven't really ever, felt that same kind of energy. And that's how, when people say, how do you know, God? I'm like, well, God's in my heart. And I know for sure because I've had a conversation with him. And that's why I will never stop. So I'm all love, and my heart is all God, and I'm evolving. And I am wanting to share in hopes that maybe it might help you. Because tragedies are what actually build our human character. If we went through life with no tragedy or no nothing, and just sat and had everything the way we wanted it, we just wouldn't grow very much, would we? And if we want to just hang out and play, that's fine. But we are now on a speed up to ascend, because now we know we can. And that was just something I just went through with that twin, was that I decided I didn't want to ascend, because if I had to walk through the fires, I wasn't sure I was 100% ready yet, even with the faith I have. Because I even know Booty, had their issues of going through, and, I mean, it just kind of scared me a little bit. But 2-3 years later, look how much has happened. Look at all this. And I'm not afraid. A little bit of me was, but because just like I saw that, we're all thinking about what we have to stop, what we have to lose, what we're leaving, instead of thinking of how wonderful it's going to be. We're going to be closer to God. We're going to maybe be able to feel better about that energy, maybe get closer and feel it. Now that I know it's there, I want to get closer to it. I want to figure out how to get closer, so that I can handle it and be close to God without it being so overwhelming. And what's overwhelming is the love. It's pure love. The light is too. The light comes in with the love, but it's overwhelming. So I have to go past my fears to say, I love you to everyone, because I love everyone. And I have different levels of love everyone. Okay. Don't think that, I just love everyone the same. I have different levels of love. Okay. But I am doing everything I can to express that love, because the more you do, the more you share, the easier it gets. You get more comfortable with it, and the people around you get more comfortable hearing it. Then they start saying it, and you start saying it, and you get your unity together with everybody loving, and then bringing their love together and sharing it with the planet. It makes major effects. And when we didn't think we could do things, we now know we can. So now our missions are much more galvanized. What would you say? We're just more, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. The passion burns brighter, doesn't it, to be able to be the light that we know we are. So, yeah, and I just want to sort of switch back to the beautiful story that you've just shared with us, going through such a traumatic time, but your faith was so much that you just wanted to know that your child was in God's hands. And, there's so many people out there who perhaps are losing husbands, wives, children, aunts, uncles, grandparents, who may come and hear this, because it's such a special message that, the transition at the end of life is just a transition. Life continues, the soul continues, and that's what spirituality teaches everybody. So the biggest message from God today is, if you can take some consolation from this story, then that's a gift. And thank you, Renee. That's beautiful.
You're welcome, because, I believe that too. If we all realized that death is not damaging, and a disaster, that death is actually just a regeneration to the next place and the next level. And at some point, one of those regenerations will get to go home. And we always do get to go home every time. But then, and here's the thing, most of us say, I don't want to come back. Well, this is the funny part, because when you get there and realize that you did all this on purpose, the first thing you do is want to come back. So I'm starting to laugh at people too when they say, I don't want to come back. I'm like, well, you might change your mind. Once you see how nice it is, like, no, I'm not going to want to come back to this after that. Like, yeah, I understand, but you came here this time.
Exactly.
You did it this time. There's something you must want to do, or you'd be hanging back with the rest that didn't come.
Yeah.
Right? You wouldn't be. And so now if we can try to explain that to people, to where they can understand or believe it or have faith that there is life after death.
And that's what mediumship was brought to the world for.
That's right.
To prove that it is an illusion, and that you can still be connected at the heart. So such a wonderful topic to share with everybody today. So
go ahead.
Wanted to speak to everybody about the sort of symptoms that we've been having recently, because it's obviously all part of the plan, all part of the Ascension, and I think it will really help people to understand, why we've waited until now to do the chat.
Right. Okay. Let me pop one more thing in too, because my son actually has come back to me right away. He took a little time out for a while, but then he came back to me. And when I became a Reiki master, my big white angel wings came out, and he helped me. He steps in behind me when I'm doing my Reiki healing, and he steps in with me. And I started to learn how to do psychic diagnosis, which I already was doing, but I went much higher. And then I could do psychic surgery on top of my normal healing because he was with me. And when I integrated him and realized, okay, let's just, why don't you just join me, honey? You're my son. Come on in. And so there's little black feathers sparsely in my white feathers all over to show that he's integrated with me. So there is life after death. I did experience God, but I also have witnessed my son coming back, and he's my guide and my healer. So that's the second part of it all, is that besides life after death, and there really is a God, is that they actually come back. They can talk to us. That's what mediumship is about. We talk to them. They come to us, talk to us. But sometimes they actually come to us. They want to be born. That's what I was told, that the angels want to be born, and then they go early so they can become angels. So I'm like, okay, my son's an angel, and then I accepted that I was an angel, and it just all rolled and rolled and rolled. And so I've been having, basically, you and I and a lot of people who've been awake for such a long time have been having our ascension symptoms all along the way, because 25 years ago I said, I want all the abilities there are. Teach me. I want to advance. I want to learn. I wasn't asking for ascension back then, but let's do it. Let's do it now, right? Let's do it all now. So, we've been over a process of 20 years, being awake and helping people and doing readings for people and out on our mission. And all along we've been ascending. So we've already been changing. So you and I are we're feeling the ascension symptoms, but we're, a little bit slower pace because we're not in any hurry to hurry up and leave, and we're also, been doing it for so long. So the people that are just now deciding to wake up, and they're just now starting to feel the conversions, are being hit with all kinds of things that you and I are just barely feeling. I mean, but they're big and they're real. Don't get me wrong, because some people it's more intense, and some people it takes, it's more gentle. So that's probably the biggest thing we could say right away, right? Is to tell yourself to be gentle with yourself, to ask them to be gentle with your ascension, to be gentle with your abilities. You can talk to them, give them permission all along the way while all these things are happening to you. You can say, hey, is this ascension? Is this temporary? Or is this something, right now I would say, hey, if you're having feelings that don't last, they just come and go, these are probably ascension symptoms. And on a health-wise anyway, as a healer, I always say, look, it takes about 3 days for you to heal your body on a physical level. If you're not just doing it mentally, physically it takes about a few days. So I always test my illnesses by 3-day rule. If in 3 days it hasn't gotten worse, it's gotten better, it's okay. But if it's gotten worse, I'll go and see something about it. But where was I going on that?
With the different ascension symptoms.
Oh, the symptoms, yeah. Boy, that was my first brain fart. My first public brain fart. I've been waiting for one of those to happen. Thank you. Thank you. Well, okay, so the symptoms, are different, right? Like at first I was going through a lot of head symptoms, then I was going through some body symptoms, and the last couple of weeks, especially before the eclipse and all the energy that was coming in with that, there was some major shifts in energy things, and a lot of shedding going on, and a lot of releasing and everything. And then all the eclipse energy came in too. So it was a combination of all these energies this last week, and all the planets changing from retrograde and moving forward. And we're all moving forward now. So there's high force energy of moving forward. And then it just goes, and it comes dumping down on it. It's kind of like heavy energy is what it is. The heavy energy comes in until you release the dark, you release whatever it is you need to release, and then it lightens you back up again and you feel better. But when it's really heavy, like it was this last week or two, I couldn't do anything. It was like Mr. Creativity left the room. It was Mr. Inspiration left the room too. I just was antisocial. I wasn't angry. I just couldn't do anything. I mean, I stopped everything, guys. You know, I'm sorry I stopped everything, but I just had to stop for a couple weeks. I couldn't even make an excuse or try to explain. Even when I was just trying to type it out, I couldn't do it. I was like, just go to sleep. Just lay down. Yeah, I was trying not to beat myself up over it, and I had to hope you guys would just understand. And then I went into doubt mode. I'm like, well, no one will even notice, you know. So I just went round and round. But I'm okay. But this is my chance to explain to all of you, you know, that I've been down for 2 or 3 weeks, because I think what happened too was when this Spot On started, I had like 8 interviews, and I did everything really fast and really good, and I was okay. And I probably would have crept up after the holidays and been fine with the energy. But when this new energy started hitting, and the eclipse too, it was like, and then here's the other thing. It was for everybody. Normally we're going in little shifts in groups. Okay. You find out what group of other people that are ascending on the same time and the same level you are, and watch that group will then all be going through the same thing. But this was a situation because it was a planetary energy because of the eclipse. Okay, it affected everybody, just like everyone who was going through their normal ascension symptoms. The eclipse just came along and intensified it with all these forward motion energies, intensifying everything too. So it affected the whole planet. So when I realized it's with everybody, I realized, well, probably no one will notice, and not from a negative, but everybody's at home doing their own thing. Not very many people are social. So I stopped all the interviews because everybody else was saying, I can't do it right now. And I understood, because I was feeling the same way. So we just stopped for a few weeks. But let me tell you, I'm not quitting. Oh, no. Oh, no, I'm just getting started. I just was unaware that something like this was going to happen so fast and so quick and so big. So, I mean, big is in energy wise. This takes a lot to do. And there's a lot of things to be worked through. There's so many bugs. It can be so frustrating, and I work so hard not to get frustrated. But there's so much. I mean, I try to make it look easy, but, you know, there's a lot. I mean, I can have anyone as a guest because it's real easy to be a guest. But when you got to get all your apps, and you've got to be able to organize this. And I'm still not the best at promoting, but I'm going to be promoting on a big scale. Okay, everything's going, everybody's going at once. It's the same energy to promote for me as it is to promote for everybody else. And it's actually better to promote for everybody else instead of yourself. It's like tooting your own horn. It's better to toot a whole bunch of horns for everybody else. People might hear you more, right?
I mean, you know, everything is ebb and flow, isn't it? And I've found that, you know, whilst I've been in a bit of an ebb, you know, that lots of other people are, and it goes really quite quiet on these platforms. So, you know, trust that all is perfect as it is, you know, the message that comes through there. And definitely, you know, we're all learning as we go. So, you know, the promotion and everything else will all come naturally. It will start to flow. You guys will be working and building you up on it as well anyway.
Right. So I just took a minute. As you saw, I was over here looking, and we've got hello, Gemma. Hello. Okay, what is the name of this group you talked about? Okay, so it's the walk-in group. Yeah, I'm going to put up a post that has all my groups and stuff. I had to do this like 3 times because we had some technical issues. So by the time I do it, I never get anything posted in this, because I did originally. I have a nice long post, and then by the 3rd time of trying it, I'm like, I'm not going to type it in this time. I'm in a hurry. So by the time these always come out, I don't have anything in them. And the biggest thing about BeLive right now is, and I understand the technical problem, but they've got a chat room right here for us, and we can see on our main panel here while we're talking to you guys, but we can't comment. So we actually have to go pull up the thing and, you know, on another device and try to comment, and then it drags down on our internet. So we can see your messages and we can answer to them verbally, but we can't type an answer. Okay, I'm certainly feeling them as well. Been feeling it too. I felt like not doing anything as well. Very tired, lots of pain, extreme fatigue. I can only putter around for a couple hours a day. Then I'm wiped out, can't move, can't sleep. Hope it will pass soon. Love to you all. Headaches, generalized pain, very tired. Very tired. Very tired seems to be the most common symptom. Is just, you notice it because it just knocks you down. So I think it's more of a heavy weighing you down, because things are, downloads come into you, and then the stress and the issues are trying to come up and out. So you got this combination of things coming in while other things are trying to come out. You know, it's like, how is it, you know, is it gonna be easy transition, or, you know, does it have to go through each thing? And maybe that's why we have, you know, difficulty. Is it too fast, you know, whatever? I mean, it's different for everybody, and you have to kind of give permission for it to happen. And then it goes even more. But I think everybody, if you say something like, please be gentle, you know, do it so I can handle it. You know, not so much all at once. Please allow me to still continue to work. That's the big thing. A lot of people still have to go to work during all this and still function, take care of the family and the children. The children are probably acting up and having, and I don't know, I don't have children around me right now, but I'm assuming, you know, it's happening to them and everything.
Definitely. And, you know, a lot of it is the opportunity and the encouragement for us to be and just be and to look within. You know, these symptoms, they sort of not knock us off our feet, but by having the weary limbs, by feeling tired, you know, it's an opportunity to rejuvenate, to sit and be still and, you know, allow yourself to cleanse yourself so that the new stuff can come in. But definitely 100% always, if you've got to work, say, can you leave this till I get home? And then when you get home, ensure that you are giving yourself that rest time.
How about if we ask about overnight and the suggestions you gave me? You want to try to give that to others?
Certainly. I mean, you know, there's the inner earth and the temples within inner earth that we've been given. And there's also our galactic family. We are all connected, the universe, the different beings on the different planets, star planets, the planets that we are aware of. And we have the ability to be able to call upon them and ask them to help us. So at any time when I speak with people, I always feel inclined to sort of encourage them to ask before they go to bed, please, can you send me to a temple of healing to help me with this integration, to help me with the ascension symptoms? And also, you know, if you feel connected to the galactic family, ask for their healing, you know, because it's out of this world, you know, and we're light beings, we're energy, and our galactic family are masters of dealing with energy. And that's why a lot of starseed have come to this planet to help us with that. So remember, this is a free will world. So unless we ask, we won't get, and it will just happen, and we'll struggle through and we'll find a way and it'll even itself out. But, you know, when we've got to live a life and we've got people that we wish to help, you know, we are meant to show love to ourselves. And one of those acts can be by saying, please, I know you can give me the healing, whichever way you feel is better for me, whether it be God source healing, angelic healing, Master Usui healing, universal healing, galactic healing. It's all available. So ask.
Absolutely. And it's one of the few things we can have a little control over. You know, being a control nut like I am, I've had to learn to surrender to a lot of stuff and let go of control. And I hardly have control of much of anything anymore. So, I mean, that is one of the things that we can actually take an active part in, is what I'm saying. We have control over that, because they're not going to do it without our permission. Of course, Gaia's still going to keep going and everybody else is still going to keep going. The energies are there for when you want it. And I'm sure it's all going to eventually, you know, filter into you eventually. I don't know how you could miss it unless you just leave, right? But I'm sure that, you know, if by being able to give permission and then ask for how you want it to be done, that's the whole point. Because they don't know if you want to be blasted in instant because we're all so darn impatient. I mean, that's what they would normally assume, right? Because we're all so darn impatient when they just assume we all want it now and blast it to us. What if that's not what we want? Maybe we're busy today. Maybe we got something going on, you know, or maybe we're just not ready yet, or, you know, or we are ready. And here's the thing, we're all so ready to go. And then we find out, oh, well, everybody else has got to go too. So, you know, you really, no matter what, you're not really in control. So, you know, I kind of like to think about it. I know it might be a semi-little negative, but I'm trying to use it as a, you know, a support kind of situation where you can still feel like you're in control of it, you know, even though after you ask it, then it all comes in. And because you don't want to feel out of control, right? This is us. This is our body. We have a right to say what our life and our body is about. So we speak up and say, this is what we'd like, please. And then they're like, yay, send it all down right now.
And literally once I said, you know, before I went to bed, when I wake up, I want you to tell me that, you know, you've finished the work, or whether it still I need to ask for it the next day. That next morning I woke up and my hair looked like an immaculate goddess's hair. It was so hilarious. Who wakes up with goddess-like hair? I didn't have to do anything with it that day because it just looked perfect as it was.
The other way. Perfect. I thought you meant it was like Medusa. No.
It was perfect.
Wow.
It was lovely. So somebody had a laugh there, but it was just a way that they could say, right, you're all done.
You're all good.
Or on the occasions whereas I may need some more, I wake up just knowing I need to ask the next night.
Well, now that's an awesome idea. Awesome idea. I tell people a lot of times when they want to find something out to ask themselves at night when they go to sleep so that they can have the answer in the morning when they first get up. But I hadn't thought about that. That's an awesome idea. Thank you. I mean, because we can ask them if we need to ask, because sometimes, you know, I don't ask every single day. I get up and get rolling and I don't think about it. You know, some days I go by without saying anything. So that's a good way of doing it, is at nighttime. You can remember at nighttime.
Yeah.
Have your little ritual of different things you do at night. That's a good idea. So that first thing in the morning, you know if you need to ask again. And that just reminds you to ask again anyway, doesn't it?
So with that, it wouldn't be responsible if we didn't advise people on the basics of, you know, why we sort of surround ourselves with source love, protection, because we are busy in the day in this world and we're busy at night around the universe. So that's why people will normally recommend that you cleanse, clear, protect twice a day. So when you get up and before you go to sleep, because you don't want to leave yourself open when you're traveling within the universe or you're going to places for healing. You want to affirm to your soul, your solar plexus, and reassure yourself that you are safe at all times. And
right.
That is, as a creator being, something that helps keep you empowered. So right. I just needed to mention that because I don't want to sort of have people saying I'm going off here, there and everywhere and they're unprotected. So, right. You know, please ensure that you work that into your routine too.
And if you don't know how, the most recent one I was told by Tammy was to envision a seal on your sacred, let me get this down, a seal on your sacred space. So you just put a seal that basically protects your sacred space. And you just envision that and put it in. There's many different ways of seeing protection. I always envision Archangel Michael's always protecting me. I don't even have to hardly ask. I've asked every day for so many years that I now say thank you every day, or, you know, as much as I can. And so I just know he's there. But once I did the seal, like she said, I changed a little. I could feel a little more centered, and I didn't feel like my energy was being taken and spread out all over. And I mean, I've been so used to just spread out everywhere anyway, but it made me feel more centered and balanced to keep
That's
that seal
beautiful.
and protection on. Mm-hmm.
But definitely there's lots of advice out there. So if anybody out there is sort of particularly interested in learning some more about how to have some protection, then I'm sure we can furnish you with some. Just leave something in the comments and we'll have a look through.
Absolutely.
So Renee, I know that you plan to have a few things to tell us today. So what was the third thing that you wanted to cover with us?
But most of it I did. Most of it I've got. The two experiences and the ascension symptoms and what's going to happen. So I guess I can talk a little bit about that. I'm getting ready to promote and move to that next level here soon. But what I think people don't understand is that I'm trying to create an empire. I'm not just doing one little business. So I have so many things that I'm doing, and now Spot On has just been added to the whole flavor of everything. So I'm really, I've been a psychic for 25 years. I've been a metaphysical minister for 25 years. I've been a metaphysical consultant for 25 years, but I am rebranding, and I have been for this last year trying to promote that I am a coach. So I'm officially launching that. I'm officially launching a whole bunch of things this month. But there were so many, I couldn't put it in just one day, so I put it in an event. And I'm getting to the second half of the promotion now, which is going to be more actual promotion. The first half was to show all the groups and all the things that everybody kind of knows about. But what I'm planning to do is each year at the beginning of the year is do an announcement of what it is that's happening right now and what I'm going to be working on through the year. Okay, so this year I've got so much going on, you know, because of everything in my first time, that I created an event out of it. But then the Ascension symptoms hit and I couldn't do anything for a couple of weeks. So I'll go back in, I'll fill that all out, get all 31 days filled out. And by the end of it, I'll actually have a grand opening for my business. And then the event will just go in it, and then all the information will already be in the event. So everyone can just go in the event and see all the new things and go join, and it'll be scrolling as opposed to one thing and not so overwhelming. But the way I have it all set up is Facebook groups are pretty much the bottom line of where everything is going to filter into. So the YouTube is up here, and then my websites and Patreon are also going to be promoted on this level. So when the major and Spot On, okay, so when the money and the sponsors and the advertising and promotion start going, everything's going to go with it. So it'll be probably mastered to Spot On first, because that's a show. So I can actually mastermind the promotions for the show. But the rest of it, while the traffic's all coming in, the subsequent traffic just from the show is going to come in and drop in and go down through the websites, go down through Patreon, hopefully, and down into the groups. So if somebody comes in and says, well, I don't want to do any of this and none of this, but oh, look, there's a walk-in group down there that I want to get into, they'll at least maybe go down into a group. So I'm setting it so that there's no holes, that everything will drop down in, and then I'm going to promote. So everyone's like, well, why aren't you promoting? Now, normally with a business, you just start promoting yourself with a, you know, basic promotions, and then, you know, getting yourself better as you go. But I've done it so many times over the years that this isn't the first time. This is like the 5th time I'm creating it again. So I know hindsight, right? I know all the things that I put into place last time that worked, and it takes a couple of years. It takes about 3 years to really get a good business rolling. And when you're trying to do an empire, 3 or 4 businesses, it takes a while. I've been at this a year and a half, almost 2 now, and thank goodness to Facebook, it's given me a whole new platform. This is all new. The end result of the promotions are going to be the same. It's just we're going to have so many more places to go. And I know how to do all that. So that's why I'm setting all this up now. There's so much to be done, and I'm not even concerned about the end result. I am totally faithful with the universe that this is the right thing to do, that it will all be provided. I'm provided for right now. I have a home. Thank you, God. I have a home, and I'm okay right now, and I don't have any bills. I just have a $50 phone bill. So I've minimalized right down to nothing. So it doesn't take me very much to survive. So whatever happens is going to be glorious because it'll all be good. I can't say I'm getting not enough because anything is good, right? Anything is awesome, is a better level up. So and watching Rick again, he just said that the money is going to be coming through now. So there is a big universal global bank that, of spiritual money that will be trickling down for us eventually so we can get our missions done. And if you have faith and keep going, I think you'll be one of the first ones the universe will help support, because you kind of got to prove yourself. Right? I don't think we need to be tested as much anymore. It's just a matter of proving that you want it the most, that you're going to follow through with it the most, because we're all divinely inspired with creativity. And 1 out of 10 maybe acts on it. But all 10 were given the same inspiration. But the one that actually acts on it, follows through with it, and creates it, that's the one I believe that the universe gets up behind and supports. So that's what I'm hoping.
Because I'm not sure whether our viewers are aware that, over the last sort of year, you've been through some, what's the word, shedding of material stuff, really. Do you want to tell us a bit more about that?
Well, I wasn't really sure how or why. At first, I thought maybe it was to humble me some more. But then I thought maybe I was not getting my lessons right, or I was not learning properly. I was doing something wrong. And then I thought, well, now maybe it's my faith, because I'm trying to do this on a spiritual faith that I will be provided for. And do I have enough faith? Is it blocked? My whole life, I have had faith, and I have always been provided for. I just have never really ever had anything. I've had just what I needed, and that's kind of how the universe has provided for me over these years. I've always had what I've needed, always.
You ended up in a situation, didn't you, where was you living in your car?
I spent a night in the car. Yeah. I had a night that I didn't have anywhere to go. So I spent the night in the car in the desert on a nice hot night. But it's been a year. It's been almost 2 years. After that twin situation didn't work, I thought maybe that was some of it, because when you're with a twin and then it doesn't work, it really messes with you. Because it's a strong love, and normally you can get over things. But when it's someone so perfect and so wonderful, and then something happens that they're not ready for you and they just can't handle it, you got to deal with it. There's nothing you can do. You can't force your twin or a twin, a soul. I don't know if he was my perfect partner, but it really affected me. Okay. And right at the time I said, I don't want to ascend, it was like I hit a ceiling. Like my head hit the ceiling and I came back down. And I also said, I don't really know how to think about life as like awakening from the beginning, because I've been awake since I was 4. So I'm not sure, can I help someone right from square one, or do I need to start helping people that are at a higher level? And then bam, so many things started happening. Everything shift. I lost everything. Toxic people started leaving, even my mother, my family. My mother started all of this. I went to help her. She was dying. I went to go help her be alive again and give her, energy to want to live. And sure enough, she got all strong again and started fighting with me, so I knew I did my job. She got all, the way she was. But she just decided to bail because her husband had died, and she wanted to start a life, and she decided to just bail, and she just left, and said, that's it. I'm out of here. You got to go wherever you want to go. It's your problem. And I'm like, okay. So I spent the night out in the desert that night. We had already had it all planned where, all these things were going to happen, but then none of that happened. So I was just kind of like, whoa, when it's your mom too, after going to help her, but that's how she is. We've all got our own things, right? So we went out into the desert that night. And of course I had a cat. I have a cat. So that cat has been with me for 11 years. He's more loyal than some of the men I was with during those years. And he has been my best companion. So he's always with me. And because of that, it's been very difficult to be homeless when you have an animal. So I immediately went somewhere else the next day, and I've been kind of jumping from place to place. I had some family and I had some friends, but every one of them had dogs. So I realized how many people have dogs and how few have cats. And when I went to the shelters are mostly for children and families, women and children. And if you're single or older and you don't have any children, then there's not enough room in the shelters anymore. They're all overcrowded everywhere that I know of. I haven't found any shelters that are not. We have many in this city in Phoenix, and they're all booked. None of them can you get into. So if you're homeless and it's 125 degrees outside, deadly weather, or 15 below in the East Coast, or 20 below, people who are homeless die. And it's a big deal. And so that was the other thing that I figured had happened, because I needed to experience it. Now, I've experienced shelters and abuse. I mean, other people who've been abused, and all the horrific stories and everything that I've heard in those shelters. So I've been fighting and working with abused children and people all my life. But now I am also very much focused on the homeless, because I had no idea it was that bad. I had to be in that situation to understand it. And it's universal. I mean, it's global right now. And enough people are finally, there's a bunch of people that really are coming out on top to do something about it. So we are seeing some effect. And the other thing is that I've never gone to food banks before in my life till now. And so I got over my food fear. So a lot of things have happened, okay? And I'm trying to be positive out of all of it. My food problem went away. So I always, as a cancer rising, always it's all about food for cancers. I always felt that if I had enough food in my cupboards and my refrigerator, everything would be fine. But I had to hoard it and have it, or I didn't feel good. Okay. And I'd look in so many other people's refrigerators and they'd have nothing. I'm like, how can you live like this? You know, I can't even imagine. That would freak me out so much. So, you know, if you don't have any food, you're going to die. You got to have some food, you know. So I was like, really, you know, wow. And now it's like, I was on a, you know, very good, trying to be a good nutritional diet, but then being homeless really threw that out the window kind of for the moment. But what I realized is that there is a lot of food banks. Okay, so in the Mesa Tempe area, we have about 20 or 40 of them. Down here in the Maricopa area, we have one. But it depends on your area, and you can always go to other places. But what I realized is that we have a really good hold on our food, that we have worked so hard for so long to help feed the hungry, that there is an awesome place, you know, set up, at least here in our city, for the, you know, we do have a lot of shelters for the homeless and for the foodless. And what happened is, going to those food banks as an angel and a goddess of light, I got to talk to a whole lot of people. And it's not what you think. It's not all bag ladies and homeless, you know, drugged up, you know, guys that are so stinky you can't even get near them kind of thing. That most of us have images of understanding it might be. None of them were anything like that. And most of them were so realistic and understand, you know, had a real world view on things, because they have nothing in the way. And that's the thing. When you minimalize, it clears all the clutter out of your life. It makes you much more focused. And by realizing that there's plenty of food everywhere, that we just really can't be without. That was my epiphany. Like, oh, I'm never going to be without food. I'm not going to die from the loss of food. That's ridiculous. There is so much food on this planet, and there's so much waste of the food on this planet, that there's enough wasted food to feed everybody on this planet. It is so unbelievable. And we've done such a good job of trying to help people that don't have food or money, that are low income and really need it, or can't survive, or struggling nowadays. So I'm not even hungry anymore now. It literally took away my hunger. And because it's a whole bunch of white flour and sweets and stuff that I get, we get some good food too here and there. You know, you just got to kind of work through it. Get a lot of fruits and vegetables, which is great. The white flour, those stuff, there's this tremendous amount of pastries. which you wouldn't think, right? But there's tons of sweets that come out of the food banks. So I started realizing, okay, I can't eat all this. So I'm like, okay, I can't waste it either, you know. So we give a lot of our food away that we're not going to eat. And then I'm just not hungry anymore. I just lost all the weird feelings about feeling like I was afraid of needing to hoard food. Now all of a sudden I'm not even eating. And then I started shedding weight. I mean, just shedding weight because I'm not worried about it. I'm not even needing to eat. And I'm so busy trying to focus on work and that always stops me from eating when I'm working so hard and so much. People like, have you eaten today? I'm like, no. Well, I will tomorrow, you know? So it's just naturally, you know, when I get busy. So the food stuff has all come out good, right? So that ended up with a good thing. I learned a long time ago because of spirits knowing that they're all around, that it really literally is impossible to be alone. If you really grasp that, really fully grasp that, you'll never be lonely again. I'm not lonely either, and I'm not hungry. Okay. And I'm very grateful to have a home. But I know that because I've even pawned my jewelry, I have no furniture, I have no appliances. I just have my clothes and what little bit, you know, this is my jewelry. It's scalar energy. Okay. My metaphysical things. That's what's important to me. That's what I have in my room here is all my metaphysical things. That's what matters. A kitchen doesn't. I mean, cooking and food does, but you know, having a refrigerator of my own does not. It doesn't bother me at all. I am now at a place that I'm liquid. I'm unfettered, unencumbered. My sons are older, 30 and 20. They're both by me right now. We ended up all over the city. And then my older son ended up coming out to help me. And so now he's with me here. And my other son is 5 minutes down the street across the railroad tracks. And we were an hour and a half away from each other before. And now all of a sudden we're all together. So when I was at my darkest and I was afraid that we weren't going to find a home because every place we were staying was temporary, I was just like, I had my son, so I was perking back up and being positive for him. But I was really, I kept questioning and wondering what's going on and what can I do to change this? And that's when I started talking to you a little more. You know, and asking for a little more help because I don't ask for help very often. I try to deal with it with God. But I was at such a point of deep darkness. So I felt that was my dark nights of my soul because it changed me so much. I'm definitely more grateful and more humble. But I'm also in a whole new place. I have no more toxic people around me. I had people there to help me when I needed it. They were always there. The minute that I had to leave a place, somebody else would show up and I'd have another place. I always had food. I was going to food banks everywhere I went, bringing food to everyone wherever I went. And it just shifted me. I've just been in such a, you know, get out and go get things and let's do things and let's, you know, get things happening. But I lost my car and because it was leased and I didn't have the 15 grand to pay for it because in the 2 years I've been trying to build a business. I'm not really making much money. I'm helping everyone for free. So I'm not really getting much. So I haven't really started promoting yet either. So no wonder, right? I mean, people can just come to you automatically, but if you're not asking or putting out a clear message, sure, they're not going to. So it's been a couple of years and it all kind of imploded. So that's what, you know, I'm thinking, well, you make a spiritual commitment. Okay, so this is a big thing right now. This is a big controversy going on. If you want to be spiritually inclined to help everyone, you should just do it. To do it, that's your mission. And whatever comes back from it because the universe provides. And that takes a tremendous amount of faith. A tremendous amount of faith to just keep going and know it's going to be okay. Even though you run out of food, you lose your car, you lose all your possessions, you lose your home, you lose your family, you lose your friends, you lose lovers, you know, have no money. So what I learned is you can survive in this world without a lot. But I think the number one thing you got to have is a phone. We can't survive without a phone anymore. And our government even gives you a free phone, the Obama phone, the free phone. So I got a free phone. It just doesn't work very good at all. But in emergency and you need to make a phone call and you're on the street, oh yeah, but you just have to find somewhere to plug it in. I mean, if we don't have electricity nowadays, we don't have much of anything, do we? If we lost our electricity, imagine it would just shut the whole planet down. And that's why talking about 3 days of no electricity is scary to people.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but just the thought of that, you know? So, so I'm in a good place, and I think that a lot of it was minimalizing, so that instead of saying I was homeless, I like to say I'm minimalized. And so if you need to minimalize, you got so much crap, it's way too much crap, so much crap that you got to put it in another box like a storage unit and pay for more crap. I mean, if you got lots of crap that you really don't need, it's just blocking your energy. And feng shui, Qi is all about having energy go through and just flow and flow and flow. And when you got a bunch of crap, it all just gets in the way. And if you got your financial corners got garbage in it, then you're in big trouble, you know? So, by the way, everyone, real quickly, when you walk in your door, your financial corner is the far left corner. When you walk into your room, if you want to know where your financial corner is. So if there's garbage in it, get it out. But the thing is that if you minimalize, and I didn't know this till I went through all this. I didn't know any. I just had stuff, right? But if you minimalize on your own, then you might not have to put into a situation where you're forced to have to do it. So anybody listening, think about clearing out your junk.
And definitely, I think the energies over the last few weeks have been encouraging that too. You know, we're sort of moving into lighter crystalline bodies. And I'm definitely on spring clean, clear, clutter mode. So, you know, definitely do that. Even if you do half a room a day, you can soon get through it.
That's right.
It's well doing, you know, and people say, you know, well, you know, this is sentimental value. If you hold that and think, does it feel light or does it feel heavy? If it feels heavy, get rid. If it feels light and brings you joy, hold on to it.
Yes, awesome. That's beautiful.
Also, as well, I think we all ought to sort of hear a bit more about the things that you do, the services that you can provide, how you can benefit us by coming to you.
Okay, and there's so much. That's why I'm doing my best to get more clear about it. I am available as a psychic to do readings. Okay, and I have created my coaching business because I feel really more connected as a coach. I've been coaching people all my life. I just didn't call myself a coach until now. I'm more etheric and spiritual when I do my readings. Okay, so it's as an astrologer, I get inside your head as far as seeing a point of view, your point of view, and then I create a timeline from your first breath, so I can see, you know, what's going out from there to help you on your journey and your life and help you tap into your abilities and even past life stuff. But mostly I focus on with everybody on right here, right now, getting centered and helping people to coach them for a better future, whatever that may be. So because I am a Jane of all trades, I'm a full metaphysician, meaning I do all of it. I can teach all of metaphysics. That has allowed me after 25 years to be completely experienced and available to help people on many different levels. Okay, so on coaches, and that's why I brought so many in, because I have a bunch of coaches. I'm going to have a coaching group and a psychic group, and that's who I'm interviewing. But it's also available for all of you who resonate, because you want to resonate with your coach. Okay, so I'm only going to resonate with a few of you, but if I resonate with you, that means we're in the same place, and I can help you. Okay, when you feel that connection to me, that means you're drawn to me. That means I have something for you to help you. I am a projector. Okay, that is my job, to sit and wait and to master my skills until you need me. And you come ask for me, and here I am. And I can help almost anybody. Anybody who resonates with me, I can help all of you. That I'm 100% sure of. If you don't resonate with me, or I kick you off, then probably not. But the ones that I do resonate, I know I can help you. And what'll happen is I will meet you right here today at this moment, and we will figure out where you are right now, what it is that your goal is and what you'd like to do. And then based on your commitment on how you want to do that, we will take you forward, whichever way is best for you. And it could be on relationships, could be on business, finances, career, could be on health, body, spirit, mind, soul, any ascension type. Upgrading as well. So that's basically coaching in a nutshell. I'm an intuitive life coach, which means I can do all of it. But only for those that I resonate with. Okay, that's the key, because if you're drawn to me, then all these abilities I have, I know I can help you. If I try to start pushing it on everybody, I don't know if I can help everyone. But I know I have a little bit of something for everybody. But I also know that I have a lot of stuff for the people that resonate with me. I mean, a lot of stuff. So when you're ready, come and see. In the meantime, everybody can reach me through the messenger. And I have a basic email of mysticreneerose@gmail. So I got a Google going. And my website is askmysticrose.com, and it has been for 20 years. I got a new website for Spot On called spoton.show. So it will eventually have its own place. I don't know if I'm going to change over YouTube or not, but for right now, YouTube and Ask Mystic Rose are the same. My new promotional site is going to be promo.missreneerose. So if there's anything, you guys, anything that you remember or know, it's going to be promo.missreneerose.com. Okay, so that is, I just got it. I've got 5 new sites, and I just put a template on all of them. So nothing's done with the templates. I just held the space on the site. So I'll be working on them here in a little while. But the promo one, which is where I'm going to promote everywhere, is going to have everything in there. So it'll be so easy for all of you, because I know I've got so much and it's all over the place right now, but it's coming together. I'm about ready to just pull it all together now. And it'll be really simple to click on one little link and it'll take you to the promo site, which will drop you to 3 of Renee's. It'll be Mystic Rose, Renee Rose the coach, or Reverend Renee Rose, depending on whether you're going spiritually. And so based on which one you're going to, you'll click into there. It'll send you down the promotional link of all the things associated with that section, because I split myself into 3 different areas. And then, phew, the funnels will all be set up and get going. And it'll just be a simple link here and there, and I'll just start promoting everywhere. I also have about 100 free spiritual advertising sites I've been collecting. So, and I found a wonderful way to group them into a folder on your phone. So now I just got that much more organized. So now I can get to my groups much faster, because you had to go down the list, and when you got 100 of them, you know how long it takes to find everything? Oh my goodness. So I just got a little more organized. I'm a little OCD about organizing. So now I can get to these groups. And so I'm going to start advertising the advertising group. So I have an advertising group here on Facebook, and you all should be in it. If you have, I mean, we all have something to sell. You all have something, services or products, or even your Facebook group. So all of you, I have 5,000 of you here. All of you should be in that advertising group. And there's like 20. You know, so it's like, because that's what I'm going to promote everybody with, the Spot On show and the advertising group. That's where it's all going to go, and it's all going to come through my promo page. It's pretty hard for people to see my vision right now, but what's important is that you all know I have a vision, and this is all going somewhere really important, and I have the universe helping to support it. So I'm just letting it flow and not trying to control. I'm just trying to stay as organized as possible, because I have so much going on. So the Reverend Renee, I became a minister of Arizona last year, because mostly I was in Washington State. So Reverend Renee Rose is going to be doing sharings, healing, remote healings on Sundays at 1. I'm going to get that started back up again. And that is the beginning of all my Serenity Sanctuaries. The Serenity Sanctuary is my mission that's come about because of being homeless. I now am morphing on a bigger scale. My mission is taken on a much bigger scale of just, I'm going to help the homeless the best I can. No. Now it's like, no, I want to create serenity sanctuaries that will help the homeless and the abused. I want to be able to grow so we can have our own fresh fruit and vegetables and plenty of herbs to stay healthy, and have our own little mini clinic of our own spiritual healers, our healing centers. And so a lot of people are also getting this same mission and feeling that they should be, trying to help homeless, and they're building little mini homes. Those little mini homes are so great. I love them. I can see myself in one. Yeah, I mean, I'm the kind of person that's got to have a 3-bedroom house and a big old property. It doesn't have to be anything in it, but I want all that space, and I've learned through all this minimalizing that I don't. I don't need it all. That I can live in one little room, or I could live in a car. If spirit really wanted me to be mobile nomad, I'd do it. I could do it now. I can do whatever. And when spirit comes to you, when God comes to you and says, I have a mission for you, honey, the first thing you do is, what? Me? You want me to do what? Because God always gives you something that's your heart's desire, and you're perfect for it, but you don't know it at the time. Can you imagine what it'd be like I said before, if you were Mary, Mother Mary? Could you imagine if God came to you and said, okay, or an angel came to you and said, you're going to have Jesus, and you're not gonna, it's just going to be there. It's like, whoa. Now that woman, Mary, she had a quest. Okay, that was a mission, right? And of course Jesus did too. And I'm not trying to, be negative in any way, shape, or form. I love Mother Mary. She's so powerful and so awesome of an energy. That's because she went through all of this, right? And so trust me, guys, angels will come to you. They will give you missions when you ask for it. And it's always something that's your heart's desire, and it's something that you're going to have to really step up. You're going to have to step up and do really you, because that's how the universe is. It's like, no more. You want to do this? Let's go for it. And we're not going to do it here. You're going to do it here. And it's like, oh my goodness. So you've got to be ready. That's what happened with my first church. So I'm very prepared for what's coming, and I have no clue what it is. I mean, isn't that amazing to be able to do that, to feel so faithful, to feel so sure that there's a God and that there's a plan, and now to have all the confirmation of all the angels saying it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And now today I heard the 31st has got a big old energy coming around. And then they keep talking about from the 31st till the end of the 31st of March, anything could happen. Well, the 31st of March is my birthday. I'm going to turn 56. So that's a very big day for me. I don't know if anything's going to happen, but several things have said that. So we'll see, because the next few months are going to be transformational for sure. And at the end of it, it'll be my birthday. So I'm really expecting these next few months to clear out a lot of clutter, to prepare for a lot more shifting will keep happening. Our portals are going to be starting to be filled, right? Because we've been holding space for love and light, but things are starting to come in now. Are you feeling that?
Yeah.
The night I went out for the eclipse, I was like, I opened the portal. It was like, oh, wow. It's like, I could see and feel things like since the eclipse. So I think they're starting to send things down through now. Yeah. I mean, they were sending light and color rays and stuff, but now things are starting to use the portals that feel, like the dragons and the, anything. Gosh, I don't want to limit it. All spiritual beings and creatures that are allowed full of love and light are allowed in my portal. So as long as they're full of love and light, so anything could come through. So there's a lot of things happening, and we really don't know what's going to happen. All I know is as a psychic and an astrologer that all these things, the harmonic convergence and all the wonderful lining up of the planets have always been extraordinary. It's just we've never really understood what happened. We never really saw it on the other side of the veil. We just knew it was extraordinary and it was wonderful, and we, you know, embraced it and supported it and loved the whole thing. But we all expected things to be like Y2K and everything. We expected all kinds of stuff to happen, and nothing ever happened. I mean, things happen, sorry, but we just didn't on a bigger scale see it. So I learned all these times, like, even though I'm a predictor, I don't predict. You just don't know. The spirit on the other side, I mean, some of us are being given information, but then they're told not to tell anyone yet. Well, I don't want to know something I can't tell, because I'll tell. That's why I'm not going to get that information. I don't hold secrets very, very well. I'm an honest person. Honest people don't hold back very well. It's very hard. I don't have filters to hold back. So, you know, I tell people don't tell me anything either, because I don't lie. If someone puts me in a situation, I will not lie. I don't care what the cost. I won't do it. And if it's your cost, then don't ask me to do it, because I'm telling you right now, I can't. I mean, it's all good. It's all good, and it's all coming, and I'm getting excited instead of being afraid. Can you tell? I've shifted. I'm not afraid anymore. I'm very excited, and I don't want to over predict it for everyone, because I don't want to say life is going to be changed. We're going to have a whole new planet. Everything's going to be wonderful. We're going to have everything we need, and it's all going to happen tomorrow. I mean, God, that would be awesome. And we could hope that in the future that would happen. But for right now, we just have to kind of keep going just the way we are, you know, and we have to have our own faith to decide whether or not we want to grow or not. A lot of people don't even ask themselves. We're unique and different. We're not like the rest. You know, there's a lot of others that are like us, but then there's a lot of the rest of the planet that is really trying to wake up and connect, and really what it is, right, is to know you. It's to get back into ourselves again. We've got pulled out from so far for so long with other material things that are so much more important than our own lives, our own souls, and all of our soul family and galactic family. And that's really all that matters. It's the number one thing. And when we all unite together in love, then this whole planet will change. And there is no doubt. It's just a matter of when and how long it'll take. And if you and I and all of you out there make a choice to make this happen as soon as possible, then we're making it happen as soon as possible. Who can predict? Because everybody's got to get on board.
Yeah.
And you can't force anyone. So
That's
we have
right.
to wait. We have to wait. We have to try the best we can to create situations that when people walk into them, it'll give them an idea of, wow, I've never thought about that. Maybe I should think about that. It's really going in and knocking on people's heads and saying, hello, wake up a little. Hello, hello. You know, have you thought about this? Have you thought about, and you know, the one I like to do the most is, do you know God? Do you know God? Do you know God? Have you ever talked to the Creator? Do you believe in the Creator? I mean, that's just one question I ask people, just to kind of know right where they're at, right from the beginning. And you know what's sad is I've had many people say no. I never thought that was possible. I honestly thought everybody knew God. I really, honestly, it's hard for me to understand how somebody couldn't really know the Creator. But yeah, hopefully, with God's help and the universe's help, everybody will have that kind of a connection. Because I can't, it's the only way to live. It's so hard without. It's so hard because everything that comes to you, everything that comes to me is always based on my faith. My choices are made based on my faith. Where are my morals? In my faith. Where are my choices? In my faith. Where does it all come from? Heart-centered and in my heart. And that's the best way you can change your life. Right there. Maybe I can help me right now. Just like that. And so I'm giving you a little bit of example of how I do things. You've gotten to know me. That's what all this is about. Turning on the camera so all of you can get to know me, so you can see value. And if you feel it and you resonate with me, then please come to me. I will try to do everything I can to help you the best way I know how. And I'm very, extremely non-judgmental. I don't judge. And I don't get angry. Very rarely ever. So if you want someone that's got 100% faith, who doesn't judge, unconditionally loving, is extremely experienced and very awake, then come on in. And that also describes Gemma, everybody. So definitely describes Gemma. Yes, you are. You have a big heart. You're awake. You're loving everyone. You're on your mission. You're helping everyone. You have very, very large array of tools. You're very connected to God, the creator. You also coach people. You love people. You help them. You're in touch. You hear, you feel, you see, you know. You're the same. That's why I love you so much. That's why you're my best friend forever, because we're so alike.
I was just sort of building up to say, the most time that I've sat here with this biggest smile on my face, and it's so full of love for you. And I'm just sitting here thinking, I'm sure everybody's going to be sitting there feeling the same. So much love for you today, Renee. I hope you see it, because, it's been beautiful to have this insight with you. Really lovely.
Thank you. Well, I love you, so I'm always going to tell you. And that's the key is I'm going to be promoting, and I'd love for all of you to, to come on in. But really, I just want to share the love with all of you. And I want to have the freedom to be able to do that. You know how good it feels when you can say, I love you all, I love you all, I love you all, and mean it, and then be allowed to do that and have people respond and say, I love you too. I think that's the best thing that's come out of all of this. That's what's helped me the most, is to be able to be loving, because I had all this for everybody, and I've had to wait one person at a time. And now I've got at least 5,000 of you about in my groups that, at least I can love all of you. I just want to be able to love and share. And I have to have people to do it with, don't I? You can't just sit alone and if you're given all these abilities and you know it, you can't just sit still and do nothing. You can't. There's no way. You're just so motivated to get up and help people. You just go every day, whatever way you can. And when you're really in faith and connected with the universe, things happen. So that's another reason why I'm doing this human design and really getting into it, because so many people are advanced in my groups and they're all into it too. And learning your human design as well as your astrological chart really makes a difference. Really opens up a whole new world of all these things that you could or should or would be doing that could help you along your path. And so I've got, those two tools are fantastic. Okay. And so if you want to go to the astrology, human design group I just created, is a small discussion group that's closed, and we're going to be able to do our charts together. So not everybody can see it, we can all talk and teach each other. And I'm bringing in some practitioners in there. And so if you really want to learn, going into that group would also be another way. But for everybody, should be in my advertising group and in my Mystic Rose tribe. Because the Mystic Rose tribe is really where I'm going to be doing everything out of. And the Spot On is going to be doing the interviews. And those are mostly, I'm only going to be promoting the top, 4 or 5. I've got so many of them, I don't want to overwhelm people. But let me think for a minute here. I think we've got everything. Is there anything else? No? Okay, no. I heard a big no on that. I never hear no. Most of the time out there, I hear yeses. I very rarely ever hear no. But that was a no.
I mean, definitely, I think it's been beautiful, eye-opening to sort of get to know you more. And I think, proactively we can ensure that, those main groups that you've spoken of, that we can, post them about, so that people know where to go for the different things that interest them.
Right.
But definitely thank you so much for inspiring us today with your story, with all of your ideas. It's a pure example of stepping into the I am and being the creator being that you are. And I'm sure you will have fired up people's passion furnaces, more people. It will ripple out. It will be fantastic. I can't wait to see the ripple effect.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Really, I was just talking. I'm glad it came out that way. That's awesome. That's awesome. And thank you so much for doing this, Gemma. I probably wouldn't interview with many other people. I mean, I'm an interviewer and I'll do interviews, of course, but you know, I mean, I'm looking to interview others and, you know, and that's it, you know, well, there's my answer right there, right? I wanted to feel what it felt like over here. That's the whole key right there, isn't it? The key is to be really comfortable with who it is you're doing the interview with.
Yes.
That's what matters.
Thank you for having me host on Spot On Interviews. I feel honored and humbled. Thank you for having me.
Good, you should, because you did an awesome job. And definitely, you know, I may call you to do it again, you know, you never know. We could be doing some more things. I am going to expand Spot On to do a couple more shows. So, oh, I forgot about that, didn't I? I should probably say that. So anybody who's been a host or a guest on our show is going to be welcomed to come to this panel, this angel board, angel panel. And I'm going to use either Be Live or Zoom, depending on which one actually works better and doesn't cost as much. And I can get like about 25 people on at once, so that we can come together maybe once a month and talk about what's pertinent right now. And then between all the angels, and then when we're done, have the replay for everybody out there and send it everywhere. It's not necessarily an interactive thing. It's the group itself is interacting. But you know, when we start interacting with everyone else, it changes. So first, I just really want to keep it focused for the internal. And then the second thing I was going to do is I'm going to start jumping into the groups more and doing more discussions, interactive discussions, where I just turn on the thing and let's talk about what's inside the group and start interacting with people that way. So Spot On will morph out, I'm sure. But what I've always wanted to do was interviews. And I've been wanting to do that for a year or two. And so it's now time. Thank you, Rick, for saying it was time. Thank you, Father, for telling Rick to tell me it was time. And thank you, Rick, for letting me interview you first. And thank you, Gemma, for being my best friend and the most awesome person in the world and so loving. And thank you for doing this. And this was awesome. You're right. I had no problem and enjoyed everything. And it's very different on this side. That's why I wanted to know. It's very important to know. But it's working really well. This is what I thought I could be really good at. And I have no expectations. I have to say, I am hoping that somebody will recognize that I'm a motivational, inspirational speaker, because that is something I would really like to do on a bigger scale. You know, and I just kind of have to wait and see how that falls out. And I have my new coaches ready to go. So things are changing. I have three mentees that I'm mentoring right now, and I have 2 mentors. So you're going to start seeing a lot of things change when coaches come into my life. Right? We all need coaches, even the coaches. So as soon as the money trickles in, then I'm going to start with Michelle Barr right away. I'm just been waiting to get that money coming in, and Radina was going to be the other one. So when they come into my life, oh my God, you guys are going to you're just going to see everything flare. So I do everything myself. And then when I can't, then we move on to the next level. And that's just about where we're at now. So things are going to change. So be ready, everyone. This is going to be another year of change, but it's going to be all good and upgrading, right? Until we get into 2020. I can't wait to see how 2020 affects. So, oh, this is awesome.
With faith, life becomes exciting. Life becomes that adventure. Life becomes that joy. Life becomes wonderful. Because what is there to worry about? Because everything is perfect in each moment. So just be and do what your heart wants you to do. Follow that.
It took me my whole life to understand that simple little thing. I was told that many times, but it took me a long time to understand what it really meant and believe it. And when you finally believe it, then you do. You're optimistic and you're unafraid and you're full of willpower and will energy. And when you're on your mission, oof. Look out.
Yeah.
Look out. No one's going to stop our missions, are they? Nothing. I mean, because on a spiritual level, we already know that we can outdo any dark. We're not afraid. So what else is anything other than that can get us? I mean, if we already have what we need for what we think might be able to, and we've already got that handled, then there is no question. It's just a matter of, tweaking it and making sure the technical things work out. And that's it, making sure the cord's plugged in, I mean, those little things, I mean, the rest of it just happens because it's divinely perfect, and it all unfolds in front of you. And most of the time we get in our own way by trying to control and do things. And that's what I've done most of my life. So even awake doesn't mean you're perfect or you got it. You still got to learn how to live in this planet being spiritual. And that's a whole many lives of transitioning to figure out how to do that. And I'm doing it in one life, so I feel pretty good. I've gone through a heck of a lot to get here, but I've done it, and I'm balanced now between spirit and physical. And you guys are seeing me do it. It's not easy, but it's easier now than it ever was. So everyone can do it now. I mean, I had to do it alone and struggle, but now it's like, none of you have to do it alone. That's what the unity is all about. We're not just uniting. We're melding into each other. We're becoming one big holy unit, So it's going to be, the universe can get up behind that. Okay, so when the universe calls the groups together, we're going. So all of you in my group are going with me. And all of Gemma's group are going with her. And we're going, Gemma and I are going together. So,
so they're coming.
That's right. So we're all going. So if you're on board with her or you're on board with me, our groups are together. So when they call, Gemma and I are going to hear our callings probably at the same time. And we'll probably be going together because I feel she's on my same platform as me, right? Neither one of us feel like we're leaving. We got a lot of work to still do, and we got families, and we still feel like we're going to be here for a while. So don't plan on either one of us leaving anytime soon. So, we're going to be here. We're going to continue to help you every way we can, Gemma and I both. Okay, so I'm tooting both of our horns. Toot-a-doo, Gemma Renee, Gemma Renee, Gemma Renee, Gemma Renee. We're both coaches, and we're both psychic, and we're both heart-centered, and we both want to love you and help you on your journey. And there's nothing more to be said on that, is there? That's it. We love you, everyone, and we hope you enjoyed this. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
You too, honey. Love you.
Love each other.
Yay. And we'll go in and follow through on the chat when we're done. So, and add everything later. So thank you all. Thank you all for coming. If you're coming later too, thank you for coming later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. See y'all later. Thank you, Gemma. Thank you very much, Gemma.
Thank you, Renee.
Okay, bye-bye. Okay, one